All right, y'all, welcome to the show. Welcome to the schmo. We are here. We are gay. And by that, I mean we are homosexual. Okay, so a lot of stuff to get to today. Jon Stewart really, absolutely, positively dressed down the Defense Deputy Secretary on the military budget. It is a glorious clip. I'm going to lead with it in just a second. Later on in the show, we have Republican politicians just flat out going after young voters. Doesn't seem like the best strategy to win them, but that's not going to stop them from leaning in that direction. And of course, by the way, it's the world's most boring politician, Scott Walker. For those of you who don't know him, you're in for a treat. If you're having trouble sleeping, watch that segment because he'll put you out like that. I mean, this guy talks and he is human Ambien. And then later on, we have Alex Jones doing another 180. He's done a number before, right? He went from DeSantis to Trump, and he might be going back to DeSantis. So we'll watch that. All right, so without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into it. And you guys know the deal. Shameless plugs all day long. Everybody click the like button. Click the subscribe button, man. We went from 1 million to almost 1,010,000 like that. So let's actually get there. Let's get to 1,010,000. Then let's get to 2 million. I would absolutely love that. So anyway, click the like button, click the subscribe button, support the show on Patreon, link in the video description box below. And remember, you guys can listen to the full shows, the audio podcast version on Spotify. All right, let's dive into it. So Jon Stewart, I'll never understand why these like very serious people who are part of our institutions agree. Like, yeah, I'll sit down with Jon Stewart. Bro, he's going to wreck you. Like, you think like, oh, I like Jon Stewart. The Daily Show was fun. Tee-hee-hee. No, he's coming there with an anvil and a blowtorch. He's going to drop the anvil on your head while he's blowtorching your toes, okay? This guy is unstoppable in these forums. So he shows up to talk to the Defense Deputy Secretary on the military budget. And, boy, this is a clip here. Let's watch and we'll break it down.
Do you feel like these are unfair questions of somebody within a department of that size and scope?
I think you have a particular thing you really want to talk about and you're asking me other questions, but I don't think it's unfair to ask me about the audit. It's absolutely the case that the United States military should be able to pass an audit.
So just to catch you up, there was the U.S. military or the Pentagon has failed 5 audits in a row, and they can't account for 59% of their money. An astonishing fact. So anytime anybody says, how are you going to pay for it? 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 When it comes to like child care or health care, throw that right back in their face. How can we pay for the military budget when the Pentagon failed 5 audits in a row and they can't account for 59% of their money? We spent $7 trillion in Iraq, $2 trillion in Afghanistan. And you're talking about, you don't want to give children health care? Come on.
Got to be on that pathway to get there.
But don't you think that does speak to the larger point that we're trying to get at, which is good journalism uncovers corruption? And
okay, good journalism does uncover corruption, but I'm not sure these two things are linked. An audit.
You don't think corruption is linked to the fact that the Pentagon can't account for 59% of their money? Go watch the movie, the documentary, Iraq for Sale, The War Profiteers. The amount of money that was made by Dick Cheney, Kellogg, Brown and Root, Halliburton, these defense contractors who got no bid contracts during our endless war in Iraq and Afghanistan, then come tell me corruption's not a part of it. Corruption might be the main part of it.
But they are.
Okay, so you need to explain to me, do you understand what an audit does and the degree to which it is linked to the question that you're asking?
I believe so.
Okay, go ahead. Give me your explanation.
She's being way too smug, way too dismissive, and way too derisive, and that's going to backfire.
I don't mind learning. So what I would suggest is that the audit that they have in the military doesn't really look at whether or not there's efficacy. It's just whether they got delivered the thing that they ordered. And
that is any audit. That is any audit. That is true.
But generally, those audits aren't $400 billion for Raytheon and $1.7 trillion for a plane that doesn't seem to be doing. Like, there is a lot of waste, fraud, and abuse within a system.
Audits and waste, fraud, and abuse are not the same thing. So let's decompose these pieces.
Please educate me on
sure.
What
so an audit is exactly what you just described, which is, do I know what was delivered to which place?
Right.
The ability to pass an audit or the fact that the DoD has not passed an audit is not suggestive of waste, fraud, and abuse. That is completely false right there. So
what is
now
it
it's a question
of?
it's suggestive that we don't have an accurate inventory that we can pull up of what we have where. That is not the same as saying we can't do that because waste, fraud, and abuse has occurred.
So in my world,
Yeah.
that's waste.
How is that waste?
If I give you $1 billion and you can't tell me what happened to it, that to me is wasteful. That means you are not responsible. But if you can't tell me where it went, then what am I supposed to think? And when there has been reporting, I mean, this is not, look, I'm not saying this is on you and that you caused this, but I think it's a tough argument to
I'm pretty
make
sure I
that
didn't cause it.
an $850 billion budget to an organization that can't pass an audit and tell you where that money went, like, I think most people would consider that somewhere in the realm of waste, fraud, or abuse, because they would wonder why that money isn't well accounted for. And especially when they see food insecurity on military bases, and they see...
You want to talk about that? Because that's a good... we should be talking... I mean,
well,
I'm trying to understand where you're trying to go, other than the dollars, which really bother you.
I think it doesn't really bother me. I think it's all connected.
Okay.
I think
tell
when
me that story. Tell me how you're thinking about that.
When I see a State Department get a certain amount of money and a military budget be 10 times that, and I see a struggle within government to get people like more basic services, and then that department that got that, I mean, we got out of 20 years of war and the Pentagon got a $50 billion raise. Like, that's shocking to me. Now, I may not understand exactly the ins and outs and the incredible magic of an audit, but I'm a human being who lives on the earth and can't figure out how $850 billion to a department means that the rank and file still have to be on food stamps. Like, to me, that's fucking corruption. I'm sorry. And if that blows your mind, and if you think like that's like a crazy agenda for me to have, I really think that that's institutional thinking, and that it's not looking at the day-to-day reality of the people that you call the greatest fighting force in the world. So I get back to this idea of like, I'm not looking to pick a fight with you, but I am surprised at that the reaction to these questions are, you don't know what an audit is, bucko. Like, that's...
Oh, he is... Oh. Rest in peace, this woman.
Weird to me.
Bro, I mean, he's right, you know, and that's what institutional thinking is. You know you're dealing with somebody who has institutional thinking when the only response they can muster up is like, you don't even know like how this works and stuff, bro. You don't even know like how it works and stuff. Okay, well, enlighten me. Explain it to me. Bro. You think it's waste, fraud, and abuse? Well, like, define waste, fraud, and abuse, bro. As if that's going to make him go, oh, I guess you're right. I guess spending $1.7 trillion on a plane that doesn't fly, the F-35 too, I guess that's okay. I guess spending $7 trillion in Iraq, $2 trillion in Afghanistan, the Pentagon not accounting for 59% of its money, I guess that's just par for the course. I guess that's just the way the system works. This is what they want to do. This is what they want to do. You know, this has happened with a number of Fed chairmen, where the Federal Reserve, the central bank, where they speak in a way purposefully to confuse regular people, where they shrug and go, "Nah, I guess that's I guess I just don't understand it, and this is the way that the system works." It's like when they use the term quantitative easing. Quantitative easing is just a fancy way of saying like a bailout with printed money. Right? But they use quantitative easing, and then normal people go, ooh, that sounds serious. That sounds legitimate. So I guess, let me not use my critical thinking skills in order. And it's like, no, you should use your critical thinking skills. It's like when you make a point about how, hey, nobody should be living in poverty, or let's just go with children shouldn't be living in poverty. And then like a hardcore libertarian chimes in and says, you don't even understand the economy, bro. It's like, wait, what? I'm making a value judgment, and they're like putting aside the value judgment and just descriptively claiming the system, how we do have, kids that are living in poverty, and they're like, do you even understand the economy, bro? Any sort of generalized reaction like that, you don't even get how an audit works. Do you even understand the economy, bro? What even is waste, fraud, and abuse? Any thing like that is immediately you're dealing with a bullshitter. Immediately you're dealing with a bullshitter. And thank God Jon Stewart's been at this for so many years that he can see right through all the tricks. He sees right through it. There's no way to get around him here. And she got too smug and too dismissive, and now it came back to bite her in the ass. Because he's hitting her. He's throwing her words right back in her face. Oh, the best you can muster up is you don't even understand what an audit is, bucko. Like he said, he has eyes, and he lives on planet Earth, and he can see the issue with a permanent warfare economy. Why is it we have endless amounts of money for war? We have endless amounts of money for bailouts of financial institutions. But, when it comes to 500,000 medical bankruptcies a year for regular people, we just can't seem to find the money to fix it. We can't do it. We can't do it. You know, this is what frustrates people. 600,000 homeless people, and it's just like, what are you going to do? That's just how the system works. Is it? Is it? Well, I'd love to flip that logic right back on you next time Silicon Valley Bank fails or some other mid-tier bank fails. Well, that's just how the system works, right? No, they moved heaven and earth to make sure they got a bailout from the FDIC and then the Fed. But for regular people, no, you're on your own. So it's amazing to me that somebody who's part in the belly of the beast, like this woman, right? She has no idea how she comes across. No idea whatsoever. She thinks she's freaking it in this conversation. She thinks like, oh, I got him. No, you're not even close to getting him. This is actually really, really embarrassing. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.